I'm Nathan Scott, and this is Breakdown, a series on game design. People rely on navigation software like Google Maps or Waze to get places all the time. And those apps are great, but the user experience could still be a little better. Raph Koster is a game designer who's worked on games from EverQuest to Star Wars Galaxies. He wrote an article about how to improve map software. One of his points was that if it says to turn left in 800 feet and there's a few turns one after another, people often misjudge how far 800 feet is. Google Maps is very precise, but the problem is that humans are not very precise. People are pretty bad at figuring out exactly how far 800 feet is in a moving car. As Raph Koster put it, we often think that accurate feedback is adequate feedback, but that's not what people actually need. His suggestion is for map software to give directions like not this turn but the next turn, or you want the third right from here. It's less precise, but more in tune with how people's brains work. I actually think rhythm games have a small problem with feedback as well. Some games don't really have any feedback at all. A lot of rhythm games just have the song get quieter when you miss notes, like Rock Band. Games like Stepmania have very accurate feedback based on the word that shows up after each note. In Stepmania's case, marvelous means you hit the note within 22.5 milliseconds of the beat. Perfect is within 45 milliseconds, great is within 90, and good is within 135. That kind of feedback is super precise, and if you've put a lot of time into the game, it's probably pretty helpful. But for most people, it's hard to tell how far off the rhythm you are. In the same way that people are bad at figuring out exactly how far 800 feet is, people are bad at figuring out how long 45 milliseconds is. It makes it a little harder to adjust to the feedback it gives you. For the same reason, missing one note can cause you to miss several in a row while trying to get back on rhythm. One of the better rhythm games on the 3DS was called Rhythm Heaven Megamix. That game handled feedback in a pretty unique way. The top screen shows the visuals and the notes you have to hit. The bottom screen gave feedback from each note in the form of different colored circles. If you hit a note exactly on time, it has a rainbow colored circle right in the middle of the bottom screen. If you're early, it shows a smaller yellow circle on the left. The further off you are from the beat, the farther to the left it is. And if you hit the note late, it's the same thing on the right side. If you miss the note by too much, the circle turns red, but it's still on the left if you're early or right if you're late. With a little practice, you can immediately adjust how far off rhythm you are without having to wait for the next measure or some other way to get back on beat. It's pretty intuitive, and you can see it in your peripheral vision. It doesn't take your attention away from the game to read words that pop up on screen. And like the Google Maps suggestion, it's a little less precise, but makes more sense with how people play games. Obviously, not every rhythm game is going to have two screens like that, but that's just one idea to improve feedback for missed notes. It might work well to have some variation of that on screen in other games. What do you guys think? Are rhythm games fine the way they are, or would some games be improved with different feedback? If you like the way a certain game handles feedback, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching this episode of Breakdown.